You guys know Minority Media from Papo and Yo. You guys really got a sense of how much we loved that game and how special it was. Well, Minority Media has also been working on VR stuff in a big way. This is Michael Zaidan, and he's going to tell us about their brand new one. It's called Trek, which is interesting. You're a video game studio, and you're here at MIP TV in Cannes, France. Why? Why is Trek here?
Well, we've been, the last few years, we've been moving into VR in a big way. We came out with VR Time Machine a couple of years ago, and we've been doing a series of VR games. And arguably, TV's kind of waning in popularity, and there's not as many sort of hooks for traditional television. And VR is coming in as an alternate second screen or a second technology experience that may help sort of bring television to a younger audience.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's one wonderful thing about VR, and it is that full connection with the viewer or the participant, and all other media and all other screens sort of drop away. And so I would imagine a broadcaster or the television market must be very, very excited about that because of all of the different ways that people's attention can be pulled these days. But VR, you got them; they're captive, right?
Well, it's kind of like the Wish fantasy to just sort of plug everybody in, and then you've sort of got them wired, and you can have them for as long as you want. And that's the promise of VR. Not hopefully to just turn everybody into a vegetable, but to really help us deliver quality content in a really immersive way. Cool. And as technology develops, so like we've been playing. So recently, I've been playing with the HoloLens, for example, which Microsoft is coming out with, which is an AR technology, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's like glasses. It's probably smaller than my glasses, but you're actually able to do a kind of a Minority Report interactivity with screens that you're able to place all over your environment. You can put up a screen, watch a movie, you can put a hologram over there, you can Skype with a friend, and you can place all these things in your actual environment. You can move around, you can move them with you. I mean, it's coming, and it's coming fast. There's like a lot of people putting a lot of money into this technology, into these, like the idea or the ideal is that, we transition from smartphones, which are basically this amazing computer we carry around with us, to a better interface. Yeah. So we're not just looking at screens, but we're somehow able to kind of plug into the screens more directly.
Yeah, an invisible interface.
Invisible.
Right? That's the dream.
That's the dream.
But it's not quite there yet.
It's not quite there
It's
yet.
A little clunkier. But I think with VR, what we do get when it's working at its best, and congrats on the good response and reaction to Time Machine.
Thank you very much.
Is, a lot of stuff drops away, and you forget where you are, and you spend hours in these experiences, and then you realize I've just been taken somewhere. Is that the idea behind Trek?
That's the idea behind Trek. I mean, what we're hoping to do is, there's like, what we're hoping to do is to create an enhanced travel experience for people. So like reality 2.0. So you remember the movie Emily?
Yeah.
Where she's taking photos of the clouds.
Fantastic movie.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of evoked like the idea of Paris, like an emotional idea of Paris.
Sure.
So what we want to do is use VR to take people to different locations where they can do different things. They can interact. Like you could try this out. You can move around. You can pick things up, and to use VR to sort of put a crack in this created reality and create like a magic realism moment where suddenly the walls are like painted different colors. There's one experience that we're doing in Cairo in Egypt. So you're in the middle of Karnak Temple, and you're walking around, and you trigger something, and all of a sudden the temple rebuilds into what it was like thousands of years ago, right? And that's something you can't really do in the real world. Right. And it's not something that's going to be very emotionally effective in a documentary, but when it's happening around you, these like giant statues, I mean, it's a powerful moment,
Is that why you guys called yourselves Minority Media and not Minority Games, or sort of identified yourself as just a video game studio from the beginning? Because it feels like, and certainly from the outside perspective as a commentator on these industries, it feels like a complete merging and a blending of all kinds of disciplines. And a company like yours, which has game experience, but can laser scan a real environment and sort of go off into a fantasy land after we get something that's kind of photoreal, seems perfectly poised to kind of take us on these trips.
Well, I think the thing about VR is that we're really going to be leveraging all kinds of technologies to do it right. So our latest game, which is getting like amazing reviews on the Google Play Store, is The Other Room, which is sort of a puzzle game. So what we did with that is we integrated photo scan environments, 360 video, sort of traditional and non-traditional gameplay to make this experience that couldn't exist anywhere else. So you have your gameplay stuff, you have your narrative storytelling, and even like with Papo Yo, which was a sort of traditional seeming game, the narrative is really, really important for us. So in terms of the name Minority Media, yeah, I guess it's fitting, and it fits for something like VR, which is sort of going to become all these different things. The thing with VR and AR is that the audience isn't big enough yet that it provides a real opportunity for an indie game maker. See, otherwise we're going head to head with like Ubisoft and EA, but this way we can really go in, we can carve out the market, we can get to know the audience, they get to know us, they get to trust us, and we develop this expertise that, you know, it takes years and years to do, you know?
Well, the other thing too is you guys kind of carved out with the breakout hit of Papo and Yo is that you guys are an emotionally led studio,
Right.
And you get to kind of define that. You're not sort of analytic driven, which I think is kind of a curse with creativity these days, right? So you guys don't have enough of an audience out there because the platforms haven't grown to that size that you're sort of just thinking about numbers. You're thinking about experiences and escapes.
Well, we always have to think about numbers.
Well, you do, yes.
We always have to think about numbers. But yeah, I mean, we're really, because we're going in and because we're defining what it is still, because it is nothing, you know, it is still becoming, we really do have a lot of freedom. We have a lot of liberty, and we get to try things and break things and try new things, and it's a lot of learning. It's really, we're really lucky. It's really, it's super interesting. It's a really talented studio, an amazing collection of engineers, artists, game designers. It's very, very fortunate. The studio is a really wonderful one in that like people are really able to sort of bring themselves into the project, you know?
I'm a big fan of all of the VR platforms, but one of the things that surprised me about the PlayStation VR is it doesn't have the fidelity that the other guys do, but it has an accessibility because it's just sitting there right on your console, right in front of your television set. Do you guys have a favorite to work with, or is there, like, how do you scope out the sort of competition that's sort of developing these days?
Well, I think, like you said, the PSVR, I think it's probably going to win the tethered race because it's so easy and so many people have PlayStations, and $500, boom, you plug it in and you're ready to go, and there's already great titles coming out. I think personally, I love, you know, for the tethered experience, the Vive is amazing. It's great to be able to move around an environment, but then again, you look at the Rift, and the Rift's got like controllers that I love, these sort of like hand grabbers that are perfect. And for mobile experiences, I mean, it's just pushing all the time. The Daydream was great because now you can put on a headset with your phone in it, and you have a grabber, so you can like grab things and move things around, which we didn't have like a year ago. Samsung's coming out with a controller as well. It's just, you know, it's like the early days. Like, you remember like the big phones that were like a big brick, and so it's, you know, the technology. Each new step is wonderful and amazing. Like, there's nothing that I hate the cardboard. I hate cardboard. Other than that, there's nothing that I hate. I hate cardboard.
So how are people responding here at MIP TV? This is a TV festival. There's a lot of silverbacks running around here that have been in the media business for a long time. Are they, you know, eager to put on a VR headset? Do they have an understanding of where this media is going? And are they saying, yes, we want to do business with you? Or how do we work with Trek?
I think people are always interested in new technology. I think people are trying to figure out how to make it work within sort of more traditional models, which is always a challenge. You know, like, where do I plug this into my TV? I don't understand. But you know, there's, like, even with the technology that we're bringing, which is, you know, sort of photo scanning environments, you know, like I was speaking to somebody last year who they'd shot some period piece in Morocco of ancient Egypt, and they built this incredible set for like hundreds of millions of dollars, and they sold it for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
But we could have gone in, we could have scanned the whole thing, and they would have had a digital copy of it forever, that they could have done anything they wanted with it. They could have built the game, they could have, you know what I mean? So like the idea of like taking things that are in the real world and transferring them to the digital world, it's not a stretch, but what you're gonna do with those assets, I mean,
Yeah.
that involves some creativity, you know.
It sounds like creators of any sort of art form or discipline or medium these days have to kind of project themselves 10 years ahead almost in a way, right?
Yeah, I think it's important to, you know, to always be sort of looking to the future and trying to put one foot in it. And it's like you said when we started talking, you know, it's an incredibly immersive experience, and I don't think anybody should be ignoring something that involves you putting on a headset and just sort of like being that completely engaged in content. Like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Great talking with you.
Hey, pleasure.
Looking forward to checking out your VR stuff.
Excellent.
And please send my regards to everybody at Minority, all right?
I will. Thank you so much.